Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? In fact, it's been well over a month since I last recorded one of these episodes, mainly because I've had so much going on Theme Park Worldwide all throughout the Halloween season. We've done so much. In fact, we visited over 16 different Halloween events, along with that over 85 scare attractions, of course filming our weekly episodes. We went out to Florida, I've been out to Sweden. I've done so much over Halloween that unfortunately I've had nowhere near the amount of time that I wanted to commit to playing Planet Coaster, but I'm back. Of course, here in the UK where we're based, the theme park season has now come to a close, meaning that I've got much more time to be sitting here at my computer and playing Planet Coaster. And you know what? I've really missed it. As you can see, I'm starting off this episode by building into this brand new area. What originally I was planning on doing like a vintage style street around here, maybe like a vintage street followed down into a pier, but then plans have completely changed because I've decided that I think I'm going to work on a vintage park for my next series of Let's Play Planet Coaster, which to be honest isn't going to be that far away. And to be honest, if I get the time, I might even start playing that as well while I finish this park as well. So stay tuned for that one. I know that I've not done hardly anything for Planet Coaster for weeks now, but I'm back and we're going to be back with a bang. And of course, I'm going to be releasing at least one episode a week of Let's Play Planet Coaster. It could be more than that as well, because I'm loving just getting back into this game, to be honest. And as you can see here, putting in a wooden roller coaster, which is going to be a Wild West theme. Now, of course, this is a movie-based park. If you've not seen the rest of the series so far, I highly recommend going back, watching the series, how the park's developed. We started off by building a beautiful Mediterranean entrance area with a coaster. Following on from that, of course, we've done Jaws the ride, we did the Amity Tower Hotel, my take on a Back to the Future style ride, which is actually a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, a roller coaster, so that's well worth checking out. And yeah, honestly, I've really enjoyed doing this park so far. And you can't forget the epic tram tour, which I've still got some more details to add in. But as you'll see when I zoom out and as I'm building on this area in this episode, you really get to see how the park is starting to close in now. I have said since the very first episode that this wasn't going to be a massive park. But yeah, I feel like after this wooden coaster is in, maybe one more major ride, and of course some supporting flat rides as well. Some of those you're definitely going to see later in this episode. In fact, once I've finished putting in the track for this coaster, I think it's time to put in a couple of flat rides in this Wild West area. In terms of why I want to go with Wild West, I just thought it was something completely different to anything else we've got in the park so far, other than the indoor Wild West scene on the Back to the Future ride, but I wouldn't really count that too much because it's not an area, so to speak, is it? I mean, we've got the modern area at the back where Back to the Future is that I plan on expanding on more, so stay tuned for that in the next couple of episodes. Another ride to go up there, I think, of some form. Of course, we've got the dark sort of themes with Jaws and the Amity Tower and the Mediterranean area, so we've got nothing that really resembles or even close to Wild West, so I wanted to bring that in. And the whole story of this area is going to be, of course, it's going to be a heavily themed area, but it's like a set what's not used anymore, so I'm not going to put any booms and cameras and stuff all around it like it's a working set like some of the others are, like the tram tour. This is going to be a set what's not used anymore, and you going into it, and obviously we've built this roller coaster running around the set. So yeah, in terms of the coaster itself, as you can see, it's got quite a steep lift hill there, but quite a lot of the elements, especially in the final part of the ride, are very low to the ground. Some very GCI, Great Coast International, for those of you that aren't familiar with the abbreviation just there. Yeah, a GCI ride in terms of all the twists and banking, what you get on that. Very similar to the likes of Wicker Man at Alton Towers. Of course, again, if you're not too familiar with manufacturers and different ride types, that is a GCI wooden roller coaster, whereas of course you got different ones out there around the world built by Intamin, such as Balder, Liseberg. You got Vekoma wooden coasters. You know, there's all sorts, and of course some of the original ones like a Blackpool that were actually built by the park themselves. So it's fantastic, isn't it? There's so much history to wooden coasters. But yeah, this is not supposed to be an old wooden ride. It's a new GCI style wooden coaster, and at the end of this video, I know you all love coming on the rides, I'll put a POV in at the end once I've added more of the theming around. As you can see there, just adding in my first flat ride, just going in there. Nothing too intense, just a standard swinging ride where it just spins you round. Of course, you got the double arm, one on each side, very similar to Pandemonium at Drayton Manor. Some of you might remember in X Sector at Alton Towers. Of course, we had the ride there known as Submission. So yeah, it's a kind of similar version to that. It's a bigger version really than Submission. It's more the same sort of size as Pandemonium at Drayton Manor. But yeah, it's full steam ahead with Planet Coaster now. I know before there's been times where I've said, oh, there'll be an episode in the next couple of weeks, and I'm not going to lie, I haven't delivered that because I've just been so busy with everything going on. Really now have got the time to fully commit to Planet Coaster, because I know there's a lot of you out there that have been thinking, oh Sean, please just upload another Planet Coaster video, we really want it, and I've been wanting to play it too. To be honest, after building this ride, I'm really getting back into it, and I'm thinking, you know what, I want to start a new park soon as well, and like I say, I might run that alongside this. I mean, there's not far off until I'd consider this park complete anyway, to be honest, because it was never intended to be huge. It's a studios park at the end of the day. But yeah, the future's bright for Planet Coaster on this channel. It's nowhere near dying out, or I'm definitely not losing my interest in it. It was just a matter of time, and if you play this game yourself, you'll know how very time consuming it is. Anyway, as you can see here, the landscaping is going to be massive around this wooden coaster. The area is quite interactive. You can see the path running right through the middle. There's not going to be loads of little pathways and stuff going off. Following on with the rest of the park really, one main path that runs through the area with your signature ride, which is this wooden roller coaster. And I'd like you guys, for the next episode, which will be on at some point next week, I'd like you to name this ride. So get your comments coming in down below on this video. What would you name it? And of course, if I pick your name, I'll read it out and you'll get a special shout out. And of course, you've got to name a ride in our Planet Coaster Park here on Theme Park Worldwide. Next flat ride's gone in there. This is an Intamin gyro swing, one of the large ones. Of course, you've got Maelstrom at Drayton Manor, which is one of those, a bit of a smaller version. This is more on the scale of Loki, which operates at Liseberg over in Sweden. And they've got another one opening there, another park actually, in Scandinavia. So I look forward to seeing that. And I know there's a lot of people that are excited for that who are enthusiasts of the park. But yeah, in terms of the queue lines and stuff here, for now, just putting it in, not real loads of theming around. Later on in this episode, you'll see I do start to landscape and theme up the area, but to note, like, nowhere near as what it's going to look when it's complete, and that'll be in the next episode. Quite a quick build, this area, to be honest. As you can see there, putting in the terrain in around the back, that will be the back of the park there, well, the right hand side, so to speak, but the park won't be built past that. You can see how it runs in quite a nice sort of semicircle sort of shape, and that's how I wanted the park to be. So yes, you can see I'm just starting to smooth them hills off and everything there and putting it together, and starting to put in the buildings here as well. So this is actually just going to be a toilet block. Of course, you've got to think of those facilities, and of course you've also got to think in this game now about your staff movement as well. I spoke about this earlier on in the series, but Planet Coaster, honestly, the guys at Frontier have worked so hard on this game. They've released so much more stuff, like loads of free updates, all the staffing tools that they put in. Of course, you've got the paid DLC, which of course I'm using throughout this game as well, with some of the studios theme. That is a paid DLC that is well worth it. I mean, there's done loads now: Spooky, Adventure, Vintage. They've just released the World's Fair pack. That looks amazing. I mean, I love Epcot at Walt Disney World. I'm a huge Epcot fan, and I love to build something on the scale of Epcot, but with a lot more rides in it. And that leads me on to say, really, a bit of a discussion, because Epcot, they are starting to put in a lot more rides at Walt Disney World now. I'd be interested to see on where the park's going to go in the future. I mean, I'd like to see your comments down below on this video. Of course, you're watching this, so put all the details here on this toilet block building, which is actually themed up to be a hotel, hence with the doors, the signage and the windows on there, and just putting the wooden beams on. But yeah, of course, we've got Ratatouille, which is coming to Epcot at Walt Disney World in the next few years. You've got Guardians of the Galaxy going in there. That's into Future World though, but more on the actual World Showcase side of Epcot. And if you don't really know what I'm talking about, check out our recent vlog from Epcot, which me and Alex did a few weeks back. Check that out, and we go to the park, we take you on the rides there, walk all around the beautiful World Showcase and the lagoon just there, because it's gorgeous what they've got, but I'm just hope they don't put too many rides in and take away from the whole cultural feel of it. So let me know in the comments. I'd like to know what you guys think. Of course, I'd like to build something a bit like Epcot in Planet Coaster. I think it'd go down really well. Not a copy or anything, not a recreation, my own thing, because a lot of people do say to me, oh Sean, we'd love you to see and recreate Alton Towers or Blackpool, and Icon at Blackpool's been a lot that people have wanted me to see me recreate. But instead of recreating things, I'd much rather come up with my own original ideas and themes, and I'm sure a lot of you guys respect that. As much as some of you'd love to see me do some recreations, I'd much rather share what goes on in my head. And a lot of the time when I'm filming vlogs and stuff, I might go off and talk about little bits that, oh, if this was my park, I'd do it, for example. And Planet Coaster's my creative space where I can share that with you guys and show that it's not just all talk in the vlogs. Actually, you know, if I did have a park or work in one of these parks and creative, I think I would know what would make the guests happy, you know. And that leads me on to where I am now, details and bits of theming. So again, we're only putting minimal theming in this episode. That is more for the next one. But you can see I've put some rocks and stuff in there. A lot of people say to me, why do you use standard trees around those rocks and stuff? Because at the end of the day, like, yes, really, them rocks you'd be putting like cactuses on and stuff like that. But you got to be realistic here and think this park is based in like a woodland area, so it wouldn't all be cactuses and stuff. Yes, you could plant some, but you'd still have all your main trees and everything around the area. And that's what I like to go with here. It's all about realism for me. And you can see the station area starting to come together there, the station building for this wooden coaster, the unnamed wooden coaster. You guys have named quite a lot of the rides in this game, pretty much all of them, so get your names coming in. I'd also like to know your names for the area and the 2 flat rides that I've installed as well. I don't put any more rides in here now in this area, that's all I want. So yeah, literally name them 4 things for me: the area itself, the coaster. With the area and the coaster, bear in mind this was an old working set area where filming was done for various movies. So yeah, like, think about that when you're coming up with your names. And of course the flat rides, maybe they could have something to do with that as well. I'd love to see what you guys come up with names wise. I might come up with some good buildings and theming and stuff, but with names I'm not that good when it comes to naming things. So it's great when you guys come up with some awesome names. You are really fantastic at doing that. More details going in here around that first flat ride that I installed. Just some crates, pallets, all that kind of stuff. A lot of it doesn't really have much of a meaning, but you've got to think this was an old working set area, so that's what a lot of the boxes and stuff are for. You got some shovels and stuff putting down there, just little things, props, what would have maybe been used to film these movies. I mean, I'd love to go behind the scenes on one of these movie sets and see all the different things, what there is there. I mean, I dread to think what they've got, and that's what it's about, just putting in everything around here, like barrels and all ropes, all sorts, whatever you can find in the scenery. And what just sort of fits the area and makes sense, really. And talking about little things being added in, you've got the landscaping, which, well, it's not really little, is it? It's a major part of the area. I think landscaping, to be honest, is one of the most important parts of a ride and just theme park areas in general. And I think it's sometimes something that a lot of people seem to forget about, because landscaping, in a way, is more important than theming, in my opinion. Like all your rocks, trees, shrubs, all that kind of stuff, make like flowers, especially in a park like Alton Towers, for example. Like the trees and shrubbery around the park's actually really important, so I like to bring that into Planet Coaster, really. That's the thing for me, as much as the game's called Planet Coaster, sometimes I don't really think that's the best fitting name for the game, really, because there's so much more to it than just building roller coasters. It's more the scenery and theme park aspect to it, in terms of building an actual operating theme park. And as much as I don't really have the park operating that much, because I'm always building stuff, and I'd rather have the park closed to build the frames per second, hence why there's nobody in here again now, other than a few staff members who are just walking around doing bits. But yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? The fact that you can run your own theme park, full-on theme park in this game. It's fascinating, it really is. And yeah, moving forward, I can't wait to do more with it. Like I say, in the next episode, I'm going to finish this area off, complete this. I'm planning on putting a ride between the entrance and this area. I'm planning on extending out on the Mediterranean theme and adding another Mediterranean style ride, maybe a log flume of some form, or a rapids, maybe a water coaster, something on those lines, which we'll do in the episode after that. And then maybe one more major ride up next to Back to the Future. So a couple of major rides probably still to come. before we move on from this park. But yeah, like I say, I'll probably start on the vintage park soon as well, get that one going. If not before the end of this one, I'd expect to get that going quite soon as well, so stay tuned for that. Like I say, now we're in closed season, I've got so much more time for this game, so much love for it. I mean, Planet Coaster's been out, what, a year and a half or so now, and I've not fell out of love with it at all. It's a stunning game that I absolutely love. All the details, all the little things, what you can do. And yeah, we're slowly getting to the end of this episode. Of course, at the end, as always, I'll share some on-ride footage. I just want to say a big thank you, really, for sticking with us at Theme Park Worldwide with Planet Coaster. There's been so many vlogs, so much other content going on the channel other than Planet Coaster. I know that some of you, of course, might be here to just watch this, but I'd highly recommend checking out our other videos. We have TPW Weekly running at the moment, which runs every Wednesday for all the latest theme park and attraction news, and also our interactive segments in there as well. And of course, the main feature on the channel, along with Planet Coaster, which is our vlogs. We've filmed so many vlogs over Halloween, but we're about to move into Christmas. We're doing 4 European theme park trips this winter, and that includes Disneyland Paris, Phantasialand, Efteling, and of course Europa Park as well, so make sure you stay tuned for all of those. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster. We're back, and we're back with a bang, with a brand new wooden coaster as we continue with this series here on Theme Park Worldwide. Here's a POV of this new coaster, and I'll see you in the next episode.